Welcome to the Ancestral Science Podcast. Okay, are you ready for the episode that the Ancestral Science Podcast crew of Emo Starlight, Alex Flett, and Corey Chewbacca have been actually talking about trying to do for quite a while? And we've been wanting to chat about Indigenous science fiction. So we decided, let's record live on location beyond Earth. Earth. I can't believe I just did that. I did that. Okay, we didn't record beyond Earth, but we did go check out and record at the Calgary Comic Convention, which was awesome. And we got to chat about how science fiction is often inspired by many Indigenous teachings. An integral question of, was Barf from Spaceballs actually inspired by a redstone? We thought about how animals, trees, and the wind are actually ancestors and therefore use language that go beyond human-to-human communication, obviously. What is the Force? Glitches in the Matrix or teachings beyond our ancestors. We reconnected with ancestral technology and DNA. We even chatted about our deepest fears, reoccurring dreams, and our thoughts about the future of Indigenous science fiction. So join us in this interesting, fascinating conversation. And I'll be honest, we really failed at not getting distracted by the amazing cosplayers, TikTokers, impromptu dances, and games of tag that surrounded us. So it was very entertaining. Always remember to check out the show notes, especially for all of you educators out there and for those that want to learn more. It's a great place to find some additional resources, links to explore more. You can also check out our website, relationalsciencecircle, all one word.com. You can find the show notes from all of our past seasons on there. You can catch up and you can even check out additional Indigenous science resources. And of course, go get some Indigenous science merch. It's very unique. And there's our shop on there. And you can help support all of the honoraria for our knowledge keepers and really just keeping the pod going. It goes a long way. So we're also a free way to support the pod. You can like, share, follow, and rate. We really appreciate that. And a little bit tidbit of news here. This is our final episode of just season 2. Don't worry, we'll be back. Stay tuned for some exciting pod fun happening over the summer, such as maybe an Indigenous youth podcast takeover. If you're interested, email us at relational.science@gmail.com for an application and more information. And of course, hand a heart to Emo Starlight for editing and audio amazingness. Thank you, Indigenous Screen Office and Bespoke Productions Hub for their support. So, I'm done this intro. I promise. You want to get to the good stuff. So, grab a glass of bantha milk or some root leaf stew and open your mind and heart to the topic of Indigenous science fiction with the Ancestral Science Podcast team. Emo, can we cue a Wookiee grunt here? That'd be great. Okay, welcome. We are, the Ancestral Science Podcast is recording on location at the Calgary Comic-Con, which has been flipping amazing, I have to say. Lots of cool stuff happening. So wanted to chat about science fiction and Indigenous science fiction today. So here with the crew, want to introduce yourselves?
Hello, listeners out there. I'm from space. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Tuning in from space.
Yeah. My name is Alex. Shit.
Okay, good job.
I'm never good at these. Yeah.
You're Alex.
My name is Alex. You're burning in the sun with Emo and Corey. Yeah.
It's like the first nice sunny day. Embrace the vitamin D.
We're happily burning. Positive note. I have a stogie.
This is another version of Smoke Talk.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm Emo Starlight, Limelight Multimedia.
Yeah.
Usually cosplaying today. Today is Saturday. Not to date this, but it's a Saturday. It's one of the busiest days of Comic-Con. I usually cosplay my Hagrid, but this year
You
my
disappointed us
cosplay is
in not.
taking a break.
We disapprove.
And
I
yeah,
was so excited that you're going to be.
Or Barf. And I think Emo should have been Barf.
oh yeah,
That is so cool.
yeah.
So you're working on the barf.
No, I have a barf.
I see you.
So my cosplays usually I have the I guess they call them sackheads from The Strangers. Not sackheads. The Strangers movie. They have sack. The guy has a sack on his head.
Okay, yeah.
Like 2 eyes and a smile.
Oh yeah.
Suit.
Yeah.
I have that. I also cosplay as Leatherface from the original 1970s movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Can we share a picture of that one? Because that's cool.
And I have a Jedi one that I made, a Barf from Spaceballs cosplay, and
Who we saw today.
Hagrid cosplay as well.
What's the color of that lightsaber you got that you cosplay?
Oh, the one I cosplay?
Yeah.
It's blue. I like mine's closely based on Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
And yeah, so my character is based on him. And my character, I don't have like a Jedi name. I didn't do a Jedi name generator thing because my name's already sounds like Star Wars. It's Emo Starlight.
Yeah, that's
You're already
name.
cool.
Skywalker. Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, you're already Star Wars.
Lando.
You're like the OG.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a main character, like Starlight,
That is
Starlight.
main character energy over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of Star Wars, I mean, science fiction, indigenous science fiction, a lot of similarities, and a lot of things have been maybe taken from indigenous cultures in science fiction, like Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the Leia hair, and really just being thinking
The
about
Ray hair. The Ray hair.
And the Ray hair.
Stolen from Corey herself.
Right. I've been doing the Ray hair since I was in middle school, high school, with the trifecta too. So with like a little bit of recognition for that. Ray.
That's super original too. Like, yeah, that's cool. Wasn't there another species in Star Wars based off indigenous peoples? It was like the Wookiees or something, right? Or the Ewoks or something.
I think the Wookiees were like based on Sasquatch or something.
Oh, okay. Or Barf.
Barf was based on a res dog.
Oh, well, that'd be a good addition to your cosplay.
Yeah. Res Barf.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff looking at, I know, shout out to Drew Hayden Taylor, who's, a lot of his work and with Indigenous science fiction, and what he says about how there's so many things within Indigenous stories that really reflect well within science fiction. Because if you think of, the methods that are typically used for Indigenous science, if you think of, they're very restrictive. But if we're thinking beyond that, like how I say Indigenous sciences, that incorporates, experience and feelings and portals and, traveling beyond our earth and that energy. If we think about the Force and, understanding Yoda and their connections to the land and nature, that's spirit, that's energy, that's quantum. So reflects really well.
Mm.
Should do like a Indigenous Star Wars episode. What do you think?
I think so. I think there are certain things like one would consider the Force if you're really into the lore of Star Wars, the fates. I think there can be a lot drawn from. Hold on. Right there, just jump right in there and just go dance with her.
I mean, there's a lot of opportunities here.
Nice.
I think I'm going to make a video.
You are.
Yeah.
I'm going to go viral.
You're going to go viral.
I think another aspect that's pretty overlooked, if we look at Star Wars, there's usually a divide about whether people look at different species or life forms as like animals or aliens or whatever.
Mhm.
But if you were to take an animal route, as some do, you are speaking a language with them, just as, you know, we speak, but we live with the land, you know, and they directly converse. They simplify that to the bare minimum and just use words or a different language. But I think that's a form of exactly what we do.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really overlooked a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm.
That the communication with not just different, what would you say, communities or peoples or life outside of Earth, a lot of that is, more could be seen as more animal. There's so much to see here. I will say I'm relatively distracted right now because this is fantastic.
Mm.
But yeah, there's that communication beyond just human to human communication. You think of, the origins of language, never mind the origins of indigenous languages are, connected to the land and in specific lands and the songs of the trees or different animals, right? And there's that communication. Yeah.
Well, I also think there might be like a slight difference in the fact that like I'm using the word animal for, most people to understand, but it's like an ancestor, a relative.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I'm speaking with some random object or thing out there. Like it's directly speaking with something that you would consider a family member, right? And I think there's if you look at something as having that relationship with you, then you ultimately, like you can easily speak that language, you understand one another. I mean, your family, you get each other, you live together, you grow together, you die together, right?
Yeah.
See, and going back to like what I was saying about the Force and using those abilities, I've witnessed and experienced stuff that, like one would consider to be the Force or like a Jedi ability. I can't remember an exact moment, but there have been moments, just like the movie Little Big Man, when old Lodgeskins, he was telling Little Big Man, I seen an animal, a large horned animal with a large nose, and what came out of his nose was air. And he's like, "That was a crazy thing" in the movie. But what he was talking about was when Little Big Man was at that soda shop and he was playing with the soda machine where it was an elephant. It was in the shape of an elephant tusks, and it was giving the pop bubbles. It was like what do they call it?
Like a soda stream thing.
Yeah, soda stream, yeah. But yeah, and there's stuff like that, and just seeing stuff like that, and it's like people would think it's like would call it the Force, call it deja vu, call it whatever. And yeah, I've experienced, and I've seen things or heard things like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was thinking of, our brains, we've been taught to rationalize everything around us. And when there's moments that we can't explain, even, our brain tries to, that doesn't exist. That's just a glitch in the matrix. But, maybe it didn't happen or you're just imagining. But, if anyone that's been in the ceremony and has had an experience, that's, it's your own experience, but it's real. It's taught you something. And that's, going beyond those very strict parameters of what is often defined as global or Western science. That's, so restrictive. We're like, oh, that's not valid. But, once you go beyond those, there's an opening to teachings that are profound in many ways, right?
Yeah. And I think an example of that is how you're saying there's things that you can't necessarily explain. If we were to go to a different country where they speak a different language and you can't understand that, is that paranormal, quote unquote? Is that out of the ordinary? Because that's the same thing, just in a different form. It's a language. You're being shown or told something. And just because you don't understand it or it doesn't look like you, doesn't mean that it's not relevant, important, or nonsense, right?
Yeah.
That's a cool twist on that. Like going to a foreign country and they speak in their own language. It's like, whoa. And then when you learn it, you're like, whoa, I know their, I know their language.
I can communicate now.
I can communicate with them.
Yeah.
The force. The force is strong with this one.
Yeah, I think of what are some science fiction themes that are, I think of apocalypse. I think that's a big a science fiction theme of what, the world is ending. What do we do? How do we prepare for that? And how do we look beyond Earth? And I think it's maybe more, I don't want to say relevant now, there's talks of going to Mars and even just traveling beyond this Earth. And it's becoming more of a reality, but it's always been, we messed up this Earth, let's go somewhere else, which is maybe not the best way to look at it, which is something that bothers me. But, there's always, there's that, I don't know, this futuristic aspect of traveling, humans traveling beyond these lands, and thinking about that within an Indigenous science perspective. Think of the star people and we're from the stars, or even going to visit those ancestors in the stars when we're in a lodge, or there's those visitations now and those experiences and conversations, if you may, teachings that we can experience now. But what was it Hal was saying, why are we trying to use human Earth-centered technology to go beyond these lands when we do that all the time? And ceremony is the different, you're using a different dimension to travel. And I think of that when we're using the definitions and the methods that we define and understand on Earth. Like, this is what we define as, quote, life on Earth, or this is how we travel around Earth through this technology. We can use the same technology to travel beyond. But how does that make sense if we're going somewhere that has completely different, I'm assuming, definitions of what is life, what is travel?
And speaking of Mars, who's to say that Mars wasn't like Earth and that was destroyed?
You just, that's interesting. Yeah.
I've always heard that theory as well. It's Mars was so similar to Earth, even the gravity. It's a little heavier than this, but not by much. I think we can adjust. But that's what I'm saying. What if that was like Earth and it was destroyed?
And then humans emigrated here.
Well, like spores, like mushrooms.
Yeah.
How mushrooms, came here. Spores on a meteor. What if something like that happened? What if a meteor hit Mars? That planet was being already destroyed by the inhabitants, which are probably humans. And then something, hit them, ricocheted to Earth, and then that's how we got here somehow, kind of thing.
Yeah, got pulled into Earth's gravity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they were an advanced race that had capabilities and they crash landed on Earth. But, it's been so many decades and years that people forgot that we had that technology.
Or maybe it's purposely forgotten.
Yeah.
It's like the thing in Men in Black. It's Gordon Blur.
Who's to say that star people also didn't go to another place? Who's to say, like, I don't know. I'm not pointing this out to say that I have the answers or anything like that, but who's to say? And for the majority of people around to just assume that we're entitled to something like that, to go there and to quote unquote colonize a place like that, who's to say? And that goes for everywhere. That goes for the space in between these planets, solar systems,
It's very egotistical to think that we're the only quote life, right?
Yeah.
It is, because if you think about it, some people might just say, oh, well, I don't think it's possible. We may be the only ones. You really believe we're the only ones? That that's a point of ego. We're the only things that could come up and become something. Like, that's craziness. That's crazy.
Yeah. Emil, what do you think? What are some themes of science fiction that connect Indigenous stories and knowledges?
I think aliens. There's a lot of alien stories. There's a lot of, like, my mom had these little figures that somebody gave to her from down south. I don't know if it was the Hopi or the Apache, but and then going down to a sun ceremony in the Apache territory, sunrise ceremony, and then seeing those people come out, they're like hat dancers, and they were talking to the people running it, and we're asking about those, and those are based on, there's like star people, but really they're like aliens. And the just the feeling around them, the way they have their masks and like they have these shiny bells as eyes.
Yeah.
And when they look at you, it's just like, it's an unsettling feeling. And I think it's the same feeling you would get. I think it's the same feeling you would get when you would actually encounter an actual alien. And that's that like feeling that, when they came out, it's like everyone got kind of quiet and it was just like weird and unsettling.
Yeah.
When they would do their dance and they had this thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
And just that feeling of like, of uneasiness. And where we were is actually based on where the movie was based is in that area of Fire in the Sky. About
is that right?
Famous alien abduction.
You seen that?
Yeah.
And it was in northeastern Arizona, which is exactly where we were attending that ceremony. And we're driving through that forest where that story takes place.
I just got goosebumps.
And it's like, okay, yeah, so that happens. And, a lot of people link it with a lot of people say sleep paralysis. People are just having sleep paralysis when they have quote unquote abductions, and that's what they're experiencing. And like running experiments myself, when I had sleep paralysis, I stopped having it because I learned my way out of it. Because that used to happen to me a lot. And even like out of body experiences I've had. And there was always the same feeling. There was always a feeling and a kind of a sound that I used to always get when that happened to me, because I wouldn't be able to move, but like my mind was awake, and there was like this feeling, this like this humming, pulsating feeling and sound that I would get.
Ooh, what if that was the language?
And what if it is?
Yeah.
And that's how it felt when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, as soon as, like, because it used to be really scary when it happened to me. And then I finally figured a way to kind of like beat it. I stopped, when it would happen, I would stop and then realize, okay, this is just, I'm sleeping, I'm fine. My mind is awake. My body's trying to catch up. And I would breathe, and I just like, okay. And I calm myself down and then realize, okay, this happens all the time. You could think your way out of it. And then I would eventually like wake up and be like, okay, I'm fine. I'm fine. And I calm myself out of it.
Yeah.
And there have been times that, yes, I've actually seen myself, and I've gotten out of myself and walked around, and and I've experienced that myself. And then that paralysis thing, once I figured that out and it never happened anymore, I stopped having that. Stopped the first time I figured it out, is that stuff stopped, like that sleep paralysis.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And what was the connection with the ceremony? And was that
the ceremony?
Yeah.
Well, because those are like quote unquote aliens. Those are star people.
I see. Yeah.
Those are aliens. And then that's where like the story of paralysis, people say abductions are paralysis. And that's where the alien abductions come from, is just people experience sleep paralysis in extreme cases.
Yeah. And that, to me, that makes sense. And that, I guess, the human body is very, maybe, I don't know, more unique. And, maybe it's that communication with star people, aliens, it is communication with the mind and the senses disconnected from the body. There is that, maybe that.
Well, yeah, and it goes to your ancestral, your DNA.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I have DNA from generations. I have DNA in my blood from generations in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some of my experiences are from there. Maybe what if some of the experiences you experience aren't yours, but your ancestors, because that's in your DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And those ancestors used to talk to animals, used to talk to everything. There's the stories, and it's like one time my cousin was talking about his grandpa. His grandpa's mom, his great grandmother, took his grandpa when he was a baby, Saskatoon picking.
Mm-hmm.
And he was old enough, maybe 3 or 5. And he was told, stay here. I'm going to go do something. I'll be right back. So he was just playing with the buckets and
Wow.
But he was wondering where his mom went. So he was like, oh. So then he went down the bush and like to look for her.
Mm-hmm.
And then he seen the floating head of somebody. Maybe it was a chief or something. It wasn't Chief Bullhead. It was somebody that passed on, and it was just a floating head. And he said when he seen that, it was like it traumatized him.
Oh wow!
He seen it, and his mom looked, and then she seen that, she was talking to that person, and she grabbed him, and she she had to take him. She's like sorry, and she had to take him back to where they were. And so there's like there's things that happen that have happened that still happen. Like Hal says, there's things that are happening in ceremony that, you can do. One would say it's unexplainable.
Yep.
But it's just like you can just do it because,
Mm-hmm. And thinking of those, is the area you were speaking of? Is that also where the petroglyphs are? Where there's petroglyphs that look like, as we would, picture an alien in your head, looks like that, and there's. I don't know how old. Yeah, they look.
I think it's in that. It's in that area.
It's in that area.
It's in that area.
I know exactly where it is.
Isn't it like near Canmore or something?
No, like in northern Arizona or somewhere in that area, there's petroglyphs that look like what we would define as aliens, with like big heads, big eyes,
right?
And when you were talking about that, it made me think of like, we have this. You ask anyone here, draw me a picture of an alien, and it'll be very similar, and they're very human focused. It looks like just very human like. That's like probably just the aliens like taking on a form that is more recognizable to us. That makes sense, right?
It does. Yeah.
Wonder if the big eyes, maybe that means that they don't have eyes, which makes sense because then that would make more of a sensory. I don't want to say telepathic, but that communicating through, going back to the Force, like communicating through energy, communicating in ways that are not, we're so focused on vision, and that is like, if you don't see it, don't believe it, or that's, Rene Descartes, separating the mind from the body, where, it's only the only knowledge in science that's valid is that comes from the brain, not from the body, not from, never mind energy or spirit or whatnot. And so it kind of makes sense if there's that way of communication and connection that's beyond that. Oh, can you just give me 1 second? I think my bead dealer is at the door. I really need to get this because I got this medallion I just got to finish. So just maybe listen to this and I'll be right back.
Tribe Artist Society uses hip-hop, art, and Indigenous culture to bring together people in the spirit of reconciliation. We create a bunch of sober spaces where hip-hop lives. You can find us at tribeartistsociety.com or at Tribe Artist Society on Instagram. We'll see you there.
Okay, I'm back. I got these beautiful glass beads. Let me tell you, it's fantastic. I'm excited to get this done. Anyway, sorry. We're back. We're back.
Yeah, I think another way of being shown or communicated is through like natural fears that we all have. Like some people are scared of like thunder or heights or water. Like for example, Mom, sorry for exposing you. She has a weird feeling of being trapped. And she's like, when there's 5 minutes left before store closes, something related to that, she starts to like panic almost. She's like, I need to just drop everything I'm doing. I need to leave. And I don't know if maybe an ancestor of hers had an experience and then decided to gift that on to the next generation in order to kind of prepare or make people aware of something traumatic that they went through. And so, the common person may look at that and just think nothing of it, right? But maybe that's a way that they're telling you something. They're showing you something. I used to have a friend in high school, and he said for some reason he was like a genuine fear of thunderstorms. It was like, as soon as I hear that low rumble, that crack, it's like I feel like scared. And he's like, I don't know why. I've never had any experiences with thunder, thunderstorms, any rain, anything like that, high winds. And That's always stuck with me. I've always thought, I think someone previous to you has gifted you something or is telling you something.
Like to
Every
protect you in a way.
Almost.
Like it's like a deja vu in the future. Yeah, it's a warning.
And
yeah,
like I think,
or an awareness or a heightened awareness of something, right?
Mm-hmm. We look at language and being shown things as through words or through pictures, but it goes far beyond that. And I think dreams is one of them. I think just natural fears are another. I believe that people can also have memories that have also come from previous, they don't know how, they don't know. And they may associate that with a dream even, right? I don't know. It's interesting. And I'm happy we're kind of brought this up and talked about it. But like we were all saying, we've all experienced these things in all different forms too. Mm-hmm. But they mean something. It's a language. You're just not hearing it. You're not reading it. Mm-hmm. It's different, but it's still the same thing.
Yeah. It's like that. If you don't use it, if you don't use that way of understanding, then it's, if you don't practice, or if you've never been shown. Mm-hmm. I think we've lost so much, our ancestors, and we've had conversations about, like superheroes of stories that we've heard from ancestors of the past that have done these unbelievable things, and how it's been like discounted or not practiced or purposefully, not allowed to be practiced, whether that's ceremony or whatever it may be. But not being able to use, like you're saying, those senses or those being able to communicate in however way that is. What's your fear?
I have a fear of, it's a weird one. I have a fear of being on an island surrounded by water.
Yeah.
It's a genuine fear. I don't know where it comes from and I don't know why. I feel like there will be water will rush onto me or onto where I am. And my mind instantly goes to, well, where's the highest place I can go, or where's an escape route, right? But in those fears, it's understanding that there's nowhere you can go. There's nothing you can do. And I'm still trying to figure out what that one means. But, I think a global Western science kind of perspective of trying to understand things like that would be like a therapist. Tell me your dream. Yeah. And I'll tell you what that means, or something like that, you know? Like, and
then it's filtered through that worldview.
It has to go through that worldview. It can't be anything else.
Yeah.
Like, I was I had a dream that I was in space and I was floating and everything was hot and I was spinning lots, and they're like, okay, well, here's what that means. You work too hard.
From my experience and my interpretation.
Okay. I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But.
Yeah. Emo, what's your fear?
I have many fears and none. No.
Yeah.
Many and none at this
I am the fear.
It's funny you're talking about the water thing, the island thing. I have there's certain times I have dreams and I'm on a boat in like really like choppy water. And I'm like, and like look out the deck and I could see the ocean and how black the water is. And I'm just like, and then the boat just starts kind of rocking and it's like, I could see the foam from the sea and like and how black the water is and how it's not blue, like in like, pictures and stuff. And when I have those dreams, I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, I know the closest I've been to the ocean was whale watching in like Victoria.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like those dreams, like when I have that, there's that. And then there's like getting stuck in an elevator, but not really in my dreams. So like fear, like actual, I'm taking those as like deep seated fears.
Yeah.
Because I have fears. Like I have fear of dogs. I was bit when I was a kid, and I've had fear. I bit twice when I was a kid, and then when I was a little bit older.
Oh.
So I've had a fear of dogs. I have a fear of when I was a kid, I had a fear of car washes. Just that whole thing. It was just really like being in there and the water and just like,
Yeah.
Just it's like, whoa, the first submarines where they were testing and they, a bunch of people probably drowned,
That's terrifying.
Weird. And I've never known that, but yeah, just stuff like that. It's weird fears.
I know.
And for those who don't know, Emo's community and my community are nowhere near an ocean. And so that raises another question, right? We're not near like water like that.
Yeah.
We're both pretty almost prairie, but anyway, continue on.
Yeah. I think that the fears of, okay, what you were saying about the submarine just like gave me a small anxiety attack. Because I think it's, to me, I've had an ongoing dream of, it's almost like being trapped in a hamster cage. And there's like a giant, interesting enough, as I'm thinking about it, a giant white dude that's like looking in. And it's like, I don't know if it's like some scientist or like, it's this weird, like you're in like trapped and it's, and such, and that's the intent, but the dream like goes on for like hours, days, and that's all. It's just like in this enclosed space. But I feel like then there's also it's like the closed space fear, but then the infinity or seeming infinity of the ocean. I love water. I love boats, all of that. But it's like I have like moments when I'm swimming in an ocean, or I remember I was snorkeling in this somewhere in Mexico, and it was kind of murky and you couldn't see the bottom, but even if like there was nothing on the bottom, so it was almost infinity, and there was like a shark over there, but I felt like it was infinity all around me, and that discomfort of not knowing almost where up is, right?
Yeah. Well, Corey, let me tell you what that means. No, just kidding.
Please interpret. Yeah.
Wow.
But like submarine, that would be terrifying.
It's like vertigo in the water. That's weird.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Very detailed. Yeah. Like it's very specific of the, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad.
But you experience that in real time, not dreams.
Yeah. The snorkeling, that was real time.
Wow.
Yeah. Or like even just when you're swimming and you can't see the bottom, and it's but if it's really dark or I don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really unsettling to me.
Yeah.
But I think people look at things as like, I think the base root of a lot of fears is the unknown. And as I move on through my journey of life, I've been come to know that not all things need to be known. There should be unknown. Not all things have answers. Not all things should be answered.
Yeah.
There needs to be that
humility.
Yeah. I think that plays like, I guess, against global Western science, where you have to be the all-knowing, the all-being. I know everything,
or you can know everything.
Yeah, or a collector almost of knowledge.
Oh, put it behind a box.
Yeah.
That makes you think though, like if somebody was given all knowledge, how like their mind would probably blow up.
Yeah,
because we're not we're probably not built to take all that in.
Yeah.
Or what if everything is revealed once we exit this husk of what is our bodies?
Yeah, and that's when everything's revealed.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. It all makes sense now.
It's funny when I was a teenager, I was hanging out. One of my best friends, a comic book nerds. Anyways, I remember we were watching Star Trek or something, and then he was like, "Oh, imagine it'd be so cool." Blah blah blah. And then I go through moments of like depression throughout my years. And this was kind of just at the beginning of a depression bout.
Mhm.
And I could just remember it's like we're watching it and I'm like, what if we do get out there and there's like just nothing? Like, what if it's just like it's just boring? What if it's boring out there? You watch these shows and every episode you see is an adventure in that time.
Mhm.
But like the original Star Trek, I think it was like a 5-year mission to boldly go where no man has gone before. Before it was no one. It used to be no man. But
Patriarchy.
yeah, like, what if they're out there and those 2 seasons or whatever out of 5 years, those are the only adventures that they had.
And then there's just nothing.
And in between each episode, there's nothing. They're just hanging out in space and just like flying around for days.
That space span.
Not experiencing anything.
Which is probably, I mean, space is big. But yeah.
And I'm just like, I just bummed my friend out. He's like, damn, you are depressed. Like, that's exactly
the nihilistic view of, there's nothing. It's not interesting.
Yeah.
You've done it all.
Yeah. I'm just like, there's nothing. All you see is nothingness.
Yeah.
But nothingness through a human perspective, that nothingness could be different worlds within different dimensions that we can't experience, which it probably is, right? We only can see and experience a 3-dimensional world. 4-dimensional if we include spirit, which is how I define the 4th dimension. But, beyond that, I mean, there's something right there in another dimension. We just can't experience it through our current human body, right? Yeah. So what do you think? What's the hope for the future of Indigenous science fiction?
What is the future of it?
Yeah. Or what do you hope to be the future of Indigenous science fiction? I think I like how there's a lot on the horizon, if we may, and a lot that's happening in film and movies and video games and, in art that is embracing Indigenous science fiction and telling these stories and kind of pushing up against, those colonial stories that is very prominent and more so in Western global science fiction, if you may. And yeah, what do you think? What do you hope for the future of Indigenous science fiction?
I would like to, I think to answer that question, I would want to change the idea of what for example, if we're talking science fiction and we're at Comic-Con right now, change the idea of what a superhero is.
Mm-hmm.
You always watch a lot of these, I'm looking around and seeing all these cosplayers and everything, and they're all human looking. You go to and see aliens on cartoons or in Star Trek, and they're all like humans, basically. They all look humans. They all have limbs and fingers and eyes and whatnot. Who's to say that, I think if we're talking about this planet, a superhero would be, for example, the land, these trees, the air, the light, the dark, everything, the good and bad.
Yep.
And if I were to make a superhero, I think what I would want to do is, you hear everyone say like cloaking or invisibility or something like that. I would want that, but I'd want it an Indigenous version where you become the object of what you're trying to disguise or cloak it with. And so if I'm standing in bush, instead of just I guess, yeah, being invisible or camouflaged, I would become that bush. I would be a part. I would be with the bush. You know, that would be like the perfect. Like it would be just an amazing, I guess, superhero.
The reverse, maybe invisibility cloak.
Because it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like, and then if you look at it, at the bare bones of it, you are changing yourself to become like, I don't know, maybe I'm not saying this correctly, but in your current situation, for you to need that power, you are not enough. You have to become, that shrub is enough, that tree is enough, because it protects me. Because by becoming that thing, like for example, if I'm being chased and I need to cloak myself, I guess. Okay, well, everyone's going to see me. I'm in danger. I'm the weakness in this picture. But if I become that, if I blend in and I become one, then I'm protected. You know?
Would you also turn into animals?
Everything. Air. Water.
Thinking, like your ultimate hero sacrifice moment would be like to feed a village. Like, I must do this.
Yeah.
Into, you know, a moose.
Yeah.
And the ultimate hero sacrifice.
Like, they have to kill you, and that's your sacrifice.
Just a hard winter.
But you just live in a different form in so many other people. That, right?
Wow. Yeah, I guess so.
And then they get your powers.
Yeah, my gift is
it's kind of like you push it forward, put it forward.
Yeah, passing it on. Yeah,
what's that thing called? That phrase? Pay it forward.
Pay it forward. Ooh, I like it. Emil, how about you? What do you think the future of Indigenous science fiction?
The future of Indigenous science fiction is to be included in current science fiction.
Yeah.
I just found out actually, the artist Stephen Paul Judd.
Oh yeah.
Just posted a photo of himself with a storyteller who actually got to do an Indigenous Star Trek cartoon. I totally forgot about the cartoons. So this kind of like fits with my Hollywood, the Hollywood Indian presentation I did. Because,
of which we're going to do an episode about. Stay tuned.
Yeah. He was talking about how that man was approached by, because I think the cartoon happened just after the original series. So it was voiced by the original actors. And one of the episodes was an Indigenous story. And Roddenberry actually got this elder, well, he wasn't an elder at the time, got this Indigenous man, I should have remembered his name, to write that episode.
No way.
And I was like, whoa, I didn't know that, you know, and so he posted that elder got to do a Star Trek episode. And I was like, wow, why didn't, you know, when the controversy with, I think it was Deep Space Nine happened, where Chakotay's background was, it was fabricated by this guy who said he had Indigenous ties and affiliation, and he ended up being a pretendian, quote unquote. So they scrapped that whole story. The whole Indigenous background was a fraud. And they never touched the Indigenous. To me, they never touched the Indigenous
the storyline,
anything with anybody. Because why isn't any of Chakotay's people in these new episodes? They're not. There's lots of Vulcans. There's lots of everything else. And so, even in Discovery, sorry, I am passionate because I grew up on Star Trek and Star Wars and not seeing anybody represented in a good way, because Michael Grey Eyes was in an episode, but he was a criminal.
Yeah, it's always negative.
He was a prisoner, sorry.
Yeah.
And yeah, he wasn't an alien. He was just like a dirty prisoner. And they even had him dressed in denim, which is weird. It was just like, I know. I was like, what? You know, and see, sorry, even Hollywood in general, the movie, I know this is going off a little bit, but the movie that just came out, Sinners, there's an Indigenous scene in there, and the Indians were hooting and hollering.
Oh no.
Like when they came in, they're hooting and hollering. They left hooting and hollering. And I'm like, oh my God, even Kugler, I thought, they would do like a solid for us. Had them hooting and hollering. And that was set in like the 30s or something. And I couldn't believe, I was like, Hollywood lets us down once again. And so the future of Indigenous science fiction would be to be included in current or embraced by new stories and new tales, adventures of comics, film, cartoons, video games.
Yeah.
I would love to see Indigenous science fiction in video games.
Yeah.
Corey, what about yourself?
Yeah, I think I see like little snippets of good things happening, and Taika Waititi, reach out. We have ideas about some cool Indigenous science awesomeness. But I think that I would love to see Indigenous science fiction as almost validating that original science, like validating, like using those stories of both the possibilities of the future and support, like you were saying, like, there's often that perception within Hollywood of, and I think maybe in general, of Indigenous people as being just in the past. Those stories are in the past. That happened in the past. They lost. Let's move on. No, let's not do that. But looking at the stories and the science within the stories as the original science, reconnecting with the past in that way and supporting these stories for a future that is, that is inclusive within the science space and beyond, but specifically within the science space, and allowing for that openness of methods and how we understand the world around us. Like you're saying, like I love that having the trees is like, those are the superheroes, and how do we visualize and represent and tell those stories that's so unique and interesting, and the language of the land and beyond. I think looking at those other portals and dimensions of that is science, but that is the original science of the land, of Indigenous science and Indigenous science fiction of the future. So lots in there. There's a lot that we can do. I hope.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know. Reach out.
Reach out, Taika.
Reach out, Taika.
Reach out, Taika. YTT.
Ooh, that was good. Okay. That was fun.
Was pretty good.
We cool.
That was.
Cool. I like this. I like this on location shoots. We'll do more of these. Go take some photos.
I have a quick little fire question for you guys.
Okay. A lightning round. A quick lightning round.
Mini
spark.
A crack.
A firecracker ring.
Yeah.
Me cue firecrackers.
Okay, and go out.
Is your favorite Indian?
Oh.
Eastern or Western? Just kidding.
Western.
like actor in general, or what?
Favorite Indian.
What character? Yeah.
Person, actor, tale.
That's a big question.
Oh, that's a good one. That is
Very
a good
good question. Lots to think about. A lot of Indians.
There's a
A
lot.
lot of Indians.
From the past or present?
Favorite Indian. I just didn't. No. Yeah.
Do you just repeat the question? It doesn't help.
No, it could be anyone fictional, real, past, present. Anything.
I needed this prompt like 2 hours ago, so I could think about do you have someone in mind?
I do. It's an old school character I like mine. Tina Keeper, if you're listening,
Reach out.
please join this podcast. I will personally interview you. You were lovely in North of 60. Huge fan. Come to Calgary.
I love this. Emo?
If I was to do current, it would have to be Amber Midthunder's character from Prey.
Mm-hmm. Filmed here.
Yeah. Or actually, anything she plays right now is amazing.
So I'm kind of getting the feeling that these questions turn into celebrity Indian crushes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I was going to say Graham Greene.
But if I was going to talk about a character,
Mm-hmm.
one character would be this indigenous vampire from a comic book that came out.
Twilight, just kidding.
No, it was a comic book about these vampires. Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but one of the characters was indigenous, and he was cool AF. Like, I was like, his like. Yeah, that's pretty good. No, but his name was Joe.
Joe the Vampire.
Maybe, but just his look too. His look was so cool. Like the artist. Oh, the artist was kind of a manga artist. He used to work on X-Men, then he did his own comics.
Yeah.
And when there was a manga or anime and manga was kind of like hot in Marvel Comics at one point because he did the Uncanny X-Men, this artist.
Yeah.
Anybody that can remember, let us know in the comments what I'm talking about. So it was an anime X-Men. It was the Uncanny X-Men. So that artist went off to do his own, and it was a vampire based series. It was a short-lived series, but one of the vampires was indigenous, and his look was so cool. Like I was like,
oh, I want to see.
Yeah.
He was wearing a Bass Pro.
An ancestral science t-shirt.
With an ancestral science t-shirt.
Wicked, kind of baggy jeans.
I have to look this up now.
Okay, we're looking it up. Character, not the right word. I mean, I love the Sasquatch. Like if we're going like opening up this question, like it's like me. I mean, we got to hang out with the Chewbacca today. Chewbacca's Sasquatch, right? That's
we were claiming him. He's Indian.
Yes. Where was that meme that was like Chewbacca was colonized and his name is changed from tobacco?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, this Sasquatch, I smell them. You can feel them around. I've seen shadows, but I know there's other reasons why not to see a Sasquatch. But yeah, do enjoy the Sasquatch?
Yeah, so that's character.
Yeah.
Favorite Indian.
I said Graham Greene. Love Graham Greene.
Who?
Graham Greene.
Oh, they said Neil Breen. Do you guys know who that is?
No.
Oh my god. He's a master at Phelps. You just have to go check him out to really enjoy his role. Just go watch.
Okay.
Just go watch.
I appreciate homework. Emo's still looking up the Joe the Vampire.
The creator is his name was Joe Madureira.
So Joe
but
the
I'm
Vampire.
looking up Joe Madureira vampire.
It's fascinating. What about your character?
It wouldn't necessarily be correct and in saying character, because it was based off a real person.
Mm-hmm.
And his portrayal in the movie was just I really hated it. But I can't remember his name. He was in that World War II Camp Eastwood movie, and he was one of the people that had the soldier that helped raise the flag on Iwo Jima.
Oh.
Ira Hayes.
Yes, Ira Hayes. And they made him seem like just a drunk who was just a loser. He like I hated it. But I mean, like, I think it's interesting to think about, you're going to war to fight for a place where they don't like you, and then you're choosing to embrace people and live amongst them with camaraderie and fight side by side as a brother, as family, as sisters, as cousins, as whatever. And to protect those people. I think it's an interesting, it's very interesting to me, but I just liked that notion that, you know, with how the world was for him and his community at that time, he was still able to get past that and look at these people just as humans and not as Americans or as colonizers. That, you know, they were both fighting for the same cause, and that's just simply what they are. They're both just humans at the end of the day. I don't know. I really appreciated that. Yeah. That aspect. I mean, it wasn't intentionally mentioned in the film or anything like that, but that's kind of my takeaway. I don't know. That's my favorite character. Ira Hayes. Yeah. But
I mean, I like going back to Prey. I like the highlighting of female warriors. I think we need that more. Just like female Indigenous warriors, and because there were so many. Like, it was Chief Little Nose. Like, didn't she like kick some ass?
No, and
we need to highlight those stories. You know?
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting that
I don't know if she was a chief. I'm not sure. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I was just saying that it's interesting that, you know, we look at our stories and you like to remind yourselves and think about great leaders that, you know, we admire, we look up to, but it's weird that there's still within media, within stories, within the world, this very, I don't know how to say it, patronizing kind of undertone to it all, where it's like, we never had that. Like, seriously, think about it. If we go back 200 years ago, that did not exist. And it's kind of, where did that come from?
Well, I can tell you.
You know, like, it's just, yeah, definitely need to get back at that. Or you can be the next great war chief. We'll follow you.
Yeah, that's
against oil companies. Just kidding. Yeah.
Oh, hi, them.
We want sponsors.
Tega Steel, please reach out to us.
Yes, for sponsorships.
Yeah, collaborations. We have ideas. You can come film up here.
Please, Tega, please, Tega. Come up here, please.
Okay, we're cool. That was fun.
Yes.
Emo, did you want to add something?
Find that comic book. Sorry.
Okay, somebody help us in the show note or in the comments to help us find the
first person to do it gets free merch.
Yeah, we'll send you a t-shirt.
Yeah, and it wasn't Indian Joe, because Indian Joe is in Huck Finn, but it's an Indigenous vampire in this book. I thought it was Joe Madureira's book, but I think it's somebody else's.
Huh. Okay, I'm curious. I want to see a picture. Okay.
Yeah, sorry guys, it's kind of turned into this crackle turned into a full-on storm, eh?
Yes.
One question.
Yeah, it started. You sparked a fire in a good way. No, it's good. Okay, that was fun. Thanks everyone. Thanks Comic-Con for being cool. That was fun. My first Comic-Con. I approve. Let's do it again. Okay, well, that was such a fun conversation. Thank you so much, Emil and Alex, and all the people in the background that somehow, in some way, made that recording even more fascinating and interesting and engaging. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, this is the final episode of Season 2 of the Ancestral Science Podcast. But don't worry, we're going to continue to do some cool, fun things over the summer. We are hosting an Indigenous Youth Podcast Takeover where you can host, produce, and direct an episode of your choice with support from us. Maybe you have a cool uncle or kokum that has some fascinating stories connected to science and the land. So let us know. Apply before June 2nd by emailing us at relational.science@gmail.com for an application form. So excited for that. And also, if you have an idea for a future episode or a guest or a topic, let us know. You can email us too. Check out our website, Relational Science Circle, all one word, .com for past episode resources and, again, unique Indigenous science merchandise. Hand a heart to Email Starlight for your editing and audio amazingness. I appreciate you so much, as well as Indigenous Screen Office and Bespoke Productions Hub for their support. So until we meet again on season 3, it's going to be a fun one, I promise. So until then, why don't you just go learn something from the land and maybe post on our website or our social media and let us know how that goes. So have fun. We will see you soon. Bye.